Countdown. We're live. Hello, I'm Willie Bragg. Welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show, where we talk a lot about politics. But, in this talk about politics, especially with the Canadian trucker crisis that's going on, let's have a little bit of entertainment while we do this. What do y'all think? So this is karaoke, and it relates to what's happening with Justin Trudeau. He could be very well the next Margaret Thatcher if he's not careful. So with no further ado, let me do a little bit of karaoke for a little bit of levity. What do you say? I say, let's do it. So I apologize in advance for what you're about to endure. Enjoy the next 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm in love with Margaret Thatcher. I'm in love with Margaret Thatcher. I'm in love with Maggie T. I'm in love with Margaret Thatcher. I'm in love with Margaret Thatcher. I'm in love with Maggie T. Oh, Margaret Thatcher is so sexy. She's the girl for you and me. I go there when she's on the telly cause she fancies me. I'm in love with Margaret Thatcher. I'm in love with Margaret Thatcher. I'm in love with Maggie T. I'm in love with Margaret Thatcher. I'm in love with Margaret Thatcher. I'm in love with Maggie T. Oh, Margaret Thatcher is so sexy. She's the girl for you and me. I go there when she's on the telly cause I think she fancies me. I'm in love with Margaret Thatcher. I'm in love with Margaret Thatcher. I'm in love with Maggie T. I'm in love with Margaret Thatcher. I'm in love with Margaret Thatcher. I'm in love with Maggie T. Call hello. Oh, whoa, yes, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm in love with Margaret Thatcher. I'm in love with Margaret Thatcher. I'm in love with Maggie T. I'm in love with Margaret Thatcher. I'm in love with Margaret Thatcher. I'm in love with Maggie T. Okay, just in case you all wonder what the hell that was about, and that was a song called I'm in Love with Margaret Thatcher by the Notsensibles, 1983, a punk rock band from the UK. I did a karaoke because of that song, just to poke fun at Margaret Thatcher in relations to what's happening with the trucking crisis in Canada right now, with Justin Trudeau wanting to use the Emergency Powers Act. And he needs to be careful. Honestly, he needs to be careful because if the protest gets very ugly, a lot of people are saying, well, these truckers are extremists and these truckers are crazy right-wingers. Well, in 1990, Margaret Thatcher tried to enact a poll tax on voters in the UK. And it was a protest turned violent by the British government against the protesters. They try to paint it off like these militants, these labor militant types out there were the ones causing the violence, but it was the police that caused the violence. It caused Margaret Thatcher to resign. Her cabinet demanded for her to step down as leader of the Conservative Party. And if this ends up turning violent because of Trudeau, he could suffer the same fate. So it's just something to think about. And what I want to do is I want to play a little bit of. We've seen a lot about on the news about the Canadian truckers. So we need to go and look back in 1990 in England to see what happened. So with no further ado, and I'll share a few additional words afterwards.
You are watching Time for Change TV with James Alexander.
It was one of the biggest marches seen in London in recent years. Starting peacefully enough, it snaked through South London, across the river and past Parliament, to end in a rally at Trafalgar Square, addressed by speakers including Tony Benn. The head of the march was still pouring into the square as the first trouble began outside Downing Street, where part of the crowd had stopped. Mounted police tried to control the crowd, but were pelted with missiles from a nearby building site. One policeman was knocked unconscious. Then police at the head of Whitehall ran back towards Downing Street, pursued by angry demonstrators. But the worst trouble came in Trafalgar Square itself. Mounted police made several charges around the square. In one, a young woman was knocked down and run over by horses. Others from the crowd went in to carry her away. She was shaken, but still conscious. Then the looting began. Shop windows were broken and bottles grabbed. Stewards from the march pleaded with them to stop. Nearby, demonstrators had climbed onto scaffolding, egging on the crowd below. Later, the same building was engulfed by fire. Thick black smoke billowed across the square and over Nelson's Column. At this stage, the square had been turned into a virtual battleground. Dozens of police and demonstrators were hurt by missiles including bottles, stones and scaffolding poles. And as the evening went on, the number of arrests mounted. Later, part of the crowd ran down Charing Cross Road and into London's Theatreland. Cars were overturned and set alight. As darkness fell, the trouble continued. Police trying to disperse crowds from Trafalgar Square. Many headed for the West End, smashing the windows of shops and restaurants on the way. For a time, Charing Cross Station was sealed off tonight by the police. It was an ugly finale to what the march organisers had hoped would be a massive but peaceful protest against the poll tax.
For more information about James Alexander and the Labour Party, please visit www.time-for-change.org.uk.
Okay, let me get back here. Basically, what happened, as I said, that riot that took place in 1990 cost the Tory government. Well, it didn't cost the Tory government to collapse, but what it did, it caused Margaret Thatcher to step down as the leader of the Conservative Party, and John Major became the next leader of the Labour Party / the next Prime Minister following Margaret Thatcher. If Justin Trudeau tries, using force on these truckers, it could end up being like this. And I don't think that Trudeau wants this. I don't think the truckers want this. I don't think the Canadian people wants this. And I have made the solution that could make the government happy, that could make the truckers happy. And that is to end the mandates and pay these truckers to get vaccinated. 90% plus are vaccinated already. Just bribe the 10%, and probably about 8% of these motherfuckers will go and roll up their sleeves if they're offered, something like $5,000 to get the jab. So that is the solution. That is the solution, not the Emergency Powers Act, not authoritarianism. And you don't want to see that happening, because you like to see civil liberties be protected. And that includes the current situation in Canada, the way that Trudeau is governing. But the hypocrisy from partisans is that Trudeau is being a despot. But Margaret Thatcher, y'all remember her, don't you? You know who she is, Maggie Thatcher. Well, Margaret Thatcher, known as the milk snatcher back in the 1970s before she became prime minister, became the Iron Lady. And Iron Lady was kind of an insult, but it was also for some, and some it was a term of endearment. I prefer milk snatcher because she was frankly the worst prime minister the UK ever had. And I know that there are going to be people that will disagree with me hardcore, but Margaret Thatcher was totally unnecessary. There was no need whatsoever to have this British Karen as the prime minister. But the poll tax revolt at least did bring Margaret Thatcher down. And for those who are supportive of Justin Trudeau, if you want to save his ass and keep him as prime minister and not have his legacy blemished, I implore that government to find a way that will not repress the civil liberties of anyone, whereby truckers can comply with the guidelines. End the mandates, bribe these motherfuckers. That's all you have to do. End the mandates and bribe the motherfucking truckers. Otherwise, you're going to end up having a Tea Party movement in Canada. And it was ugly when it was happening here. Now, I don't mean that it was ugly in the sense that it was violent per se. There were some pockets of it during the Obama years, but overall, yeah, a lot of them were partisans that just wanted to take a shit on Obama. In the same way that partisans during the Trump years called the resistance wanted to take a shit on Trump. It's just, again, and now, the partisans on the Republican side down here wants to say, let's go Brandon. There's nothing wrong with saying, let's go Brandon from the left. But anyway, find a solution, or it could be another Margaret Thatcher situation. And I don't want to see Canada go Tory. Honestly, I'd rather see Canada go NDP than anything else, even better than the Liberal Party. But for some reason, there's just not enough Canadians willing to vote NDP just quite yet. So, but anyway, that's basically what I wanted to say. And I just wanted to kind of get that out of my chest this morning. And we have right here a chat line. We have Propaganda Live. I'm sorry. Let's see. Willie's in the house. Thank you. I am in the house. And we have Hot Retarded Chicks saying, morning, buddy. Morning, Hot Retarded Chicks. I'm always glad to see you dropping by the chat line. I feel like we connect sometimes. Let's see. Willie's on it. I try to be. Keep myself informed. I agree. Willie, the movement is being duped. That's so correct. I will say this. I wish if you get a chance when the video's over to rewind it back to the beginning, because you get to hear me do karaoke. with speaking of Margaret Thatcher. So you'll get a chance to hear me do the song "I'm in Love with Margaret Thatcher" by the Notsensibles. I am not in love with Margaret Thatcher. She's not my type, politically or visually speaking. But it was kind of a affectionate little slur against the legacy of Margaret Thatcher. And there is a correlation I've made between Margaret Thatcher and Justin Trudeau in terms of the poll tax strike of revolt in 1990 and a potential clash between the truckers and the government if Trudeau enacts the Emergency Powers Act. So anyway, if you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree with what I have to say, comment anyway. We will have a conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it because we're the muckrakers of our time. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. And remember, keep this class struggle going. And we're all Julian Assange. So, and now I will end this little broadcast. Until next time, with a little bit of music. So take it easy. Everybody takes care.